Alright gang, this is a 2008 Honda Odyssey Touring Edition, which if you've seen my other video on the 07 Honda, this one is to replace the one that was totaled. Now, this vehicle has about 150,000 miles on it, and everything's great. It's a good vehicle, but it's got a noise. And let me start it up and show you what that noise is. That is the noise. It's the power steering pump. And let me just show you something else. Hold on. As I was saying, that's the power steering pump that's gone bad. And I've got a replacement. This is I picked this up from Advance. This is a rebuilt one. As you can see, it comes with no pulley on it. The kit does come with some the O-rings and seals within the package. I wanted to share this too. Whenever I picked this up, we were able to order this online and pick it up at the store, and there was a discount coupon. If you research discounts, you can find different ones. We were able to save $40 off of this. This part costs from the store $128 with a $40 core charge. So we were able to buy this for $40 off. So that's a pretty good deal. The codes can vary, but you need to look them up. So what I'm going to do is go through the steps of changing out the power steering pump, and I'll get started on it here in just a minute. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is remove this cover, and you take these two screw heads right here, you turn them 90 degrees counterclockwise, and this thing will come loose. And then it's got these little plug-ins back here. There's two of those, and they go in these holes back here. So we'll get that cover out of the way, and that exposes the pump. Now you can see there's two bolts here that hold this upper hose, and a clamp that holds this relief hose or return hose. And then the pump itself, we'll have to salvage this pulley off of it because the new one didn't come with it, as you can see here. And looking at this has standard threads on it from what I can see, clockwise threads. So we'll turn that nut counterclockwise to remove it, and that'll get the pulley off. Okay, I think it's best, at least at this point, to try to remove or break loose the nut that holds the pulley while it's still mounted. I could probably take it all the way out and use a impact driver and try to break it loose, but I'm going to try to do it on the vehicle. And so what I'm going to do, or what I've done, is I put a screwdriver in here, and it's in one of these holes that you can see, and I took the pump and I rotated it back a little bit to get the screwdriver in that opening, and the handle was wedged against the pump itself, the main assembly there, and the pulley. And then what I'm going to do is take a dead blow mallet, and I'll hit that wrench. Now I'm not going to try to smash it like I'm trying to break down cinder blocks. I'm just going to tap on it and try to gently break it loose and see what happens. Alright, I've got tension on the pulley, tension on the screwdriver. And the nut broke loose pretty easily, so that's a good idea. Yep. No problem. So now that that's loose, I can take tension off of the belt so that I can get the pump up and out of the way. Okay, so I have to relieve tension on this belt, and what I did, I removed the fasteners that hold this cover in. It usually goes right there and covers up this section. And there may be an easier way to do this. I've tried putting a big socket, I think a 19 millimeter, up here on this nut, on this post that's sticking out, but it doesn't seem to work very well. So what I did is I have a crowbar, and I'm putting tension on this little shock that's part of the tensioner device, and I pushed against the pulley and I got the belt off. And I'm just going to let everything stay right where it's at until I change out the pump, and then I should be able to snake that back up on there and relieve tension and put it back in like it was, hopefully. Okay, so when you take that pump loose, break the hoses and line loose, it's going to dump fluid all over the place. So I'm going to try to avoid losing as much fluid, or at least letting it, you know, get out and get on the ground or anything like that. So I'm going to take an old turkey baster and an empty quart bottle of oil, and I will suck up as much of this as I can into the turkey baster and put it in this bottle so that it doesn't go all over the place. And I'm going to probably put all fresh fluid in anyway, so I'm not real worried about salvaging this, and then I'll recycle what's left. Okay, so the next step for me is removing these two bolts that hold this upper pressure hose on, and then I will remove this clamp and pull this hose off of the return. Well, now that those are off, and you will lose some fluid, just so you know, and I took a paper towel and stuffed in the end of the hose and also wrapped the end of the fitting. The next step is to remove these two bolts. There's one back here, and there's one down at the kind of at the bottom. Can't really point to it, but I can show you on this. It's this lower one right here, and those are both 12 millimeter. And so once those are out, the assembly should just come up and out of the way. Just a quick note, it was easier to get to that bottom bolt by just go ahead and removing the pulley that we had loosened earlier. It makes it easy to get a socket on it, and I'd already broken both loose, so I just got to get them out of the way. Okay, that came out easy enough. At this point, I want to take this tube off. This has a 10 millimeter bolt, and that tube comes off. There's an O-ring inside there. I haven't verified yet to see if the new one has it in there. I assume it should. If not, it'll be in the packaging that came with the new part. As I was saying, it didn't come with the O-ring in it, but it was in the packaging, and so I'll just slip that into that opening, make sure it's seated, and then I'll insert the new piece, and then put the bolt back in. Okay, so on the end of the pressure line, I need to remove the O-ring because there's a new one that comes in the kit. And so I'm just going to take a screwdriver and get behind it gently. You don't want to mess up the fitting, and work that off just using a screwdriver and my thumbnail. Pull that old O-ring off, and then slip the new one in place, and then bolt that down. And I have the return line already hooked up. Of course, it's bolted in place. Just reverse the process. I have the pulley on, but it's not tight yet, and so now that I have the new O-ring on the pressure, I can push that in and get the bolts in place, and then work on getting the belt back on. Alright, so I put the pulley back on and put the nut on. I didn't have it tight, and I then put the belt back on. And once I did that, I was able to take and put a wrench on the nut, and I just tapped it with a mallet to make sure it was snug. I didn't put the screwdriver back in because it would put the force on the wrong places. You know, you might try to put it in there, but that'll break that plastic fitting possibly, and this one would hit the line. So I was comfortable tapping on it, and then I topped off the reservoir with Honda fluid as recommended. And I've already started it up, but I'll do it again and just show you a couple things. As you can see, it's a lot quieter now. but it's still going to make a little noise while the air in the system works its way out. So you'll hear it here when I cycle this. And all it is residual air in the pump that will work its way out as you drive, and that'll take care of that noise, at least with the power steering pump. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching.